Hey guys, it's Calvers here in Scotland, and today I just want to talk about something I've kind of been thinking about for a while. We're coming up to E3, it's just around the corner. I think it's begins on the 13th of June if I'm not mistaken. It's literally a couple of weeks away, and today I just want to really talk about Microsoft conference. I'm a big Xbox fan, I've had all the Xboxes, and every year it's the Microsoft conference that I probably get the most kind of hyped for. I used to quite like the Nintendo ones, but recently they've kind of toned it down, which is fine, absolutely fine. They just have their way of doing it, and Microsoft like to do their way of doing it, and the Microsoft ones, for me, tend to normally be a bigger spectacle, have a lot of hype around them, and the general reason I get hyped for the Microsoft ones is I always think that they're going to announce something huge, and they never quite do. Last year there was backwards compatibility, but it was completely overshadowed by the Sony conference because they had Shenmue 3 and the Final Fantasy 7 remake, so hands down they won. You can't compete with that. This year, what are they going to do? What are Microsoft going to do to top up last year? The first thing I'm going to get straight into is there's been a massive, what I could call maybe an information leak, or possibly even a rumour, that there are some games that have been listed online, some various things that Microsoft are going to show at E3. So I'm just going to talk about them one by one, go through the list, and give you my thoughts and opinions. So first of all, there has been listed online a rumour that Rare are working on a new Battletoads game. What do I think of Battletoads in general? Well, to be honest, my only real experience with Battletoads is when I was younger playing it on the Mega Drive. My friend had it, and it was the hardest game, one of the hardest games I played. Couldn't get past I think it was like the third level or second level where you're on the bikes, hover bike things. For somebody who was like maybe, I don't know, 10 years old, it was just nigh impossible. So if I'm being totally honest, although I'm 29 years old, going on 30. God, for me, I really don't share an affinity for Battletoads. I think it's great that it does have a bit of a cult following, and it's nice to see that Microsoft are allowing Rare to go back to an older IP, because there does seem to be a bit of demand for that. I do see the positives to that, but personally for me, it's not something that I'm gonna get excited about, unfortunately. What do I think the game? I mean, we've seen, Battletoads was kind of like a 2D, kind of brawler, a bit like Final Fight or Streets of Rage. What would they do with today's graphics and that? I really don't know. I don't think that type of game would cut it anymore. Today's market, I know there's been a lot of success with indie titles and stuff, but if they're going to do 3D models on an isometric kind of 2D plane, I just don't really see that working. The other option is they go full 3D, and I mean, what are we going to see from that? It's, is it going to be an open world? Is it going to be more linear? I mean, I just don't really see what they could really do with Battletoads to really get it out there, for it to be a AAA title. So this is one rumour that unfortunately I'm not too excited about. I completely understand that some people will go crazy for that and will totally disagree with what I'm saying and probably have some great ideas. If you do, share them in the comments below. I'd really like to know. So the second game we already know about is Sea of Thieves. Apparently this has been said online that this won't be a straight MMO. It's going to be more like comparisons that's been made is more like The Division or Destiny. I mean, I don't really see that as a surprise. When I saw the original trailer, I kind of thought I'm with the console. Well, with it being on Xbox aimed at a console market, I couldn't really see it being like an MMO. I don't know why anyone would have thought that from that trailer. I was very much getting a kind of Destiny, Phantasy Star Online kind of vibe from it. I really don't know why people thought that could have been an MMO. Maybe it's just me, but to be honest, that doesn't surprise me. The trailer looked okay. I mean, again, that's not really something that floats my boat. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, according to the online stuff, Microsoft going to put a huge focus on this. Apparently, they're going to have cross-play with PC. I'm totally up for that. I'm not a PC man at all. I've never had a PC. I've never really kind of been in a financial situation where I can buy a PC for that can do the games justice for me. The only option really in the past, and even now, has been consoles, where I can plump down some money, and then that kind of sees me for the next couple of years. I think it's great. It's going to have cross-play. We'll just need to wait and see what happens with that. They're putting a lot of hype. I think they're putting quite a lot of expectation on that game. I don't know. I mean, they did this with, what was it, the Kinect Sports game on the Xbox One. Microsoft seemed to push that a lot at launch, even though the game wasn't ready. They had that weird demo beta kind of thing. Again, I'm just a bit worried that Microsoft can put too much emphasis and focus on that title when it might not deliver. But again, this is totally my opinions. Rare, they're a great developer, so we'll wait and see for that one. The next rumour isn't really a surprise. Forza Horizon 3. This is the year that the simulation-based one, the normal Forza series, takes a break and Horizon steps in. This one's supposed to be set in Australia, so again, that's nothing surprises me. To be honest, doesn't really get me excited. Had Forza Horizon 1, thought it was okay, didn't buy the second one, although I've been hearing great things about the second one. I just prefer the actual track racing, so that's why I stick to the mainline series. But for people who are excited about Forza Horizon, Australia's a pretty big place, pretty diverse, so some pretty good locations in Australia, so that should be good for people who like that. The next thing's something really small. Microsoft apparently have got General RAM in production or ready, created for Killer Instinct. Again, that's pretty cool for people who love Killer Instinct. We've already got the Arbiter in it. Why not add General RAM? There's going to be a big push at Gears of War 4 this E3, so totally understand that. Yeah, great for people who absolutely love that game. I personally never really connected with Killer Instinct. I absolutely loved Street Fighter 4. Big fan of Super Turbo, and recently been playing Tekken Tag 2 Tournament on the Xbox One, which is pretty cool. Pretty good for fighting fans. We'll see what happens with that. Now the next big one, I'm quite surprised at, but at the same time I can see why they're probably done it. Microsoft, they seem to be making a big push in the PC area, and it seems like the direction they're going is to try and connect PC, their Windows users with Xbox users, which I think is a smart idea. But this next game, I'm quite surprised, is Age of Empires. I think this would have been a surprise announcement if they have this ready for Xbox One, or they're working on it for Xbox One. Age of Empires games, for me, traditionally PC through and through. I don't really know how they're going to do that for the Xbox One unless it's severely dumbed down, kind of like Command and Conquer and Halo Wars was a little bit okay. I mean, the controls are great for them, but it just never really felt like I was getting, I couldn't completely use the strategy I wanted to use with the controller quick enough. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I think that'd be quite a big announcement. It's almost like a war cry as to what Microsoft are going to be doing. So the PC area and Xbox. So we'll see what happens to that. Next announcement is a Halo Wars 2 beta. Not really surprised with that. We found out last year that they're making one. I think it's actually being developed by 343 Industries. If I'm honest, I mean, Halo, I loved Halo 1, 2 and 3. Those three games, especially Halo 3, I absolutely loved those games. But at this point now, it's kind of like, just take a break from Halo. Don't rely, why are they relying so much on the Halo franchise? They're investing so much money in it, and I think people are just getting sick of it now. I can see them doing Halo Wars 2, because there has been a demand there for a Halo Wars game. And the first game was decent, and it's not a first-person shooter, so there is a market for it for strategy games and consoles, but it's not huge. It's niche at best, and I just hope if they do talk about Halo, it's no more than maybe 5, even 10 minutes at a push. I just don't want any more Halo. Bored of it. Move on. We want new stuff, new content, and that's how I feel about it. The next big rumour is apparently an online zombie game. How I feel about that? Well, we had that game, DayZ, DZ, wherever you're from, whatever you want to call it. It's been in, beta or alpha or something for like so many years. It's actually never been properly released yet, but hugely popular on PC, and that's cool. But I think that hype and that type of game, the hype train for that is gone. From what I was hearing online, I don't think as many people play DayZ anymore because it just seems to have kind of, done what it's done, and that's fine. People had fun. I personally haven't played it. I would have liked to have played it, but again, I don't have a PC powerful enough. I can't afford one. If it's something similar to that, then on a console space that might do well, because I think there is a demand from console players for something like that. But at this stage, who knows? It could be a State of Decay sequel or another Dead Rising game. Who knows what that's going to be like? I think the world zombie kind of pop culture seemed to dying off a little bit now. I think a lot of people have had their fill from zombie games, so again, this isn't something that gets me too excited about. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is hardware. So there is rumours flying around all over the place about Sony releasing a new PS4 and Microsoft releasing 2 new Xboxes. I'm not going to talk about the Sony stuff, you can see that online, that's been online for months. The Xbox stuff is more recent though, so the big rumour coming out is at this E3, Microsoft are going to show off a new slimmed down version of the Xbox One, and they're also going to show off a new controller. So what do I think of that? I think that's been a long time coming. I think they need to almost rebrand the Xbox. I've read online opinions, people think they should drop the One tag. I completely agree with that. I think when you hear the two words together, Xbox One, people just think of that awful launch period. They don't think of the cool console it is now that's gone through all the changes. So I think it would be a smart move if they dropped that One tag and they just came out with something new for the name, like Xbox S or I don't know, something like that. What do I think of the new redesigned controller? To be honest, I think the controller's really good. This is my controller. It's the white Lunar, very swish. Getting a little worse for wear through all the Call of Duty Tekken I'm playing. I think the controller's good. I've always liked that controller. I've never had any complaints with it. The only complaints I ever had, 2 bumpers were really horrible to begin with, but now they're really good. They push in further and they feel, you can push it in anywhere, which is great. Controller wise, I think that controller is really good. I can't really fault it for much. The one thing I would say with Microsoft controllers, and I've noticed this over the years, especially the 360 controllers, whenever I bought a brand new controller, there was always some small detail that was wrong with it. And I think this is just cheaper manufacturing that they're going with, but there was always something like, the D-pad to the right doesn't work, or it does work, but it's not as responsive as the other buttons, and various things like that. And even this controller, when I press down like that once, it sometimes registers as a double tap. So that's something I hope they change. I hope they change the manufacturing methods and go to another company, because that really does my head in. What do I think of the Xbox S? I think it's a good idea. It's a step in the right direction. They need to refresh it. It's a big chunky box. I don't mind that because it's got a huge fan, which means it's super quiet and it never overheats, which was a massive problem, as we all know, with the old one, the 360. So I'm looking forward to that. Will I buy it? Well, this is the thing. I would buy that straight away, but there's this other rumor that there's another console coming. What do I think of this? It's the codename's the Xbox Scorpio. Well, apparently it's going to be a lot more powerful. There's some mad numbers going online on NeoGAF and things like this to do with teraflops, and I don't know any of that stuff. I think somebody did a graph where they showed the Xbox One teraflops, the PS4, the rumoured PS4 Neo, and what this Xbox Scorpio is going to be, and it blows everything completely out the water. I don't believe that. I don't think Microsoft would do that. I do think they need a more powerful machine. I think ultimately, although they've got a lot of praise from people more recently with the updates and the way the console runs now, having the lower powered console releasing the same time as the PlayStation 4 and being more expensive has really hurt them in the long run. And I think that's just something that they've struggled with constantly. Every single multi-platform release seems to run better on PS4. I know there's some exceptions, don't get me wrong, but the vast majority, the big titles, they always run better on PS4. And at the minute, I think they've always struggled with that. If you go and speak to somebody in a game shop, you know, what one they think's more powerful, they're going to hands down say the PS4. Everybody knows it. I think they're making a smart move and bringing out a more powerful machine. Rumours it's going to release next year. I think that's a good time. I think if they release that this year, that would only piss people off. I think that's the last thing Microsoft need to do at the moment, is piss any more people off. What they're doing, releasing it next year, if they do that, is a good idea, and I think that's awesome, and I'd be in first line to get that. With the rumour power for it, the price, that could be an issue, but I think they're going for this thing where they're going to have Windows on the Xbox One. Potentially, could it run PC games? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. You know, PC games, there's more coming out on the Windows Store, I think, but Steam rules the roost. Would it be able to run Steam? That would be, for me, that would be the ultimate. That would open up a massive library of games for me, but can I see Microsoft doing that? No, of course not. They're going to want to support their own store, Windows Store, I believe it's called. Which is fine. At the end of the day, they're a business, so I can't really fault them for that. It's just me being greedy and wanting Steam, so... Anyway guys, that's me. Let me know what you think about these rumours. Do you think they're true? What would you like to see announced at E3? And if you like this video, then give me a like. If you don't like it, then give me a dislike. I don't care. So yeah, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.